Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, a huge welcome to you. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I do bead subscription unboxings, reviews, and I also do tutorials. I can show you how to make all kinds of jewelry. So if that's something you're interested in, please think about subscribing to my channel. I usually upload at least once a week, sometimes more often. It just depends on how busy I am. But anyway, guys, I'm so glad you're here because we're going to be making that gorgeous necklace and earring set. And it's the perfect piece for Valentine's Day, which is actually right around the corner. And we're going to be using Didi's Deluxe Bead Box for the month of January. Now, this little box may be small, but it is packed with beads and they're always so gorgeous. I've never been disappointed. I've enjoyed every single unboxing so far. And if you're not familiar with Didi's Deluxe Bead Box, I'll leave a link down below and a little bit of information. And if you do go to the website, don't forget to do the conversion because the pricing is listed in Canadian dollars, but you can switch it to US dollars if you're based in the US. I think there's a button or something that you can click on and it changes the currency. And by the way, the box is sold out. There's no more left because they sell out really quickly whenever they get launched. But if you need some of the beads, perhaps they'll have some in their online store. I don't know. Or you can just do a Google search. Another place you might want to check is Etsy. Etsy carries a lot of Czech beads. In any case, I'll leave a list of all the materials down below in the description section of this video. I'm also going to leave a list of all the tools I'm going to be using. And I always leave timestamps in case you want to skip forward to any portion of the video. And by the way, guys, you can always substitute. You don't have to use the exact same materials that I'm going to be using today. The main thing to take away from today's tutorial is technique. And I guess inspiration would be another one. Hopefully I can inspire you to make your own designs. So anyway, guys, I don't want to keep talking. I want to jump right into the tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. And here we have Didi's Deluxe Bead Box for the month of January 2023. The name of this box is Bead My Valentine. Let's go ahead and select the beads. As you can see, the beads are absolutely gorgeous. And I was very torn about what to make this month. Initially, I was going to make bracelets, and then I changed my mind and I thought, well, maybe I'll make a mother and daughter necklace set. But then after thinking about it for a couple of days, I decided I would make something romantic for Valentine's Day. And what inspired today's necklace was this beautiful strand with the heart beads. So I'm definitely going to be using this one. Look how gorgeous these beads are. They're absolutely stunning. I really do love these beads. And of course, this is the focal bead that I'm going to be using. When I first saw this one, I fell in love and I knew I had to use it. I may use some of these other beads as well. I'll figure it out as I go along. I want to use some of the beads from this strand as well. These are Picasso Jasper beads, and these are 6 millimeters in size. And I want to use this gorgeous pink quartz. These beads are 8 millimeters in size, and I think these are going to look really nice with that heart focal. I'd also like to use some of the beads from this mix. This is an assorted collection of Czech and glass beads. The name of this mix is Valentine Bead Mix. I want to use this strand as well. These are bicone beads, as you can see, and they have a gray travertine finish. Now it's a pretty red color, but I don't like the name of this color. It's called Oxblood Red, so I'm going to try to ignore that name as I work with these. And these are really pretty as well. I would like to use these, but I'm not 100% sure just yet. This is Crazy Lace Agate, and it's in a matte gray color, and these are 8 millimeters in size. I don't know if I'm going to be using these. They're very pretty and I love the finish. These are called Tibetan Gold heart-shaped beads and they measure 12 millimeters in size. I'm going to put them aside just in case, but I don't know if I'll use them. I'll decide as I go along. And I think I'm probably going to use the chain as well. This is stainless steel chain. These links measure 6 by 4 millimeters in size, and as you can see, it's in a gold color. And that's it from this box. And here we have a few more items we're going to be using for today's project. As you can see, I have some ball head pins. And these are very thin head pins. We're going to be using them to do some wrap loops. I have 3 large rings. They measure 10.5 millimeters across, and they're actually closed rings. Don't ask me where I got them, because I got them a long time ago, but they were in my stash and I thought I would use them for today's project. Now, if you don't have these, you can use large jump rings, but I highly recommend that you get a closed ring of some kind. As you can see, these are pretty thick and they're in a gold color. I also have 2 6 millimeter jump rings and a lobster claw clasp, and I have 1 4 millimeter jump ring that we're going to use for the extended chain today. I'm also going to be using some 20 gauge wire, and this is by Artistic Wire. It's in a gold color, as you can see, but you can use any brand. It doesn't have to be this brand. So now that we've gone over the materials, I'm going to remove the beads from the strands and we're going to get started. As you can see, I've removed the beads from the strands. This is pretty much the entire strand of the Picasso Jasper, but I'm only using a few beads of the agate and the pink quartz, as you can see. Now this is pretty much the entire designer strand. I just have a few left that I'm not going to actually use. I'm going to save these for another project. And I decided not to use these two hearts. I sat down and did some sketches and I realized that these aren't going to fit anywhere. I'll probably use these for some earrings in the future sometime. And I also decided not to use this strand. I'm going to save these for another project. I hope I haven't confused anybody. Like I said, I'll leave a detailed list of all the materials down below in the description section of this video. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As you can see, I have my wire already pre-cut. These measure approximately 1.5 inches, and these measure a little bit more than 1 inch. I'm going to use the smaller ones for the 6mm size beads. And then I do have one larger piece here. This one's about 2¼ inches. I'm going to use that for the focal pendant. And I also have 3 ball head pins that I'm going to use to create some dangles. So let's work on the pendant first. This is very easy. I'm going to create a simple loop. So I'm going to grab the wire at the top like this, leaving myself about 3/8 inch. And now I'm going to kink it, 90-degree angle. Now I'm saying 3/8 inch for myself. It's based on the size loop that I want to make, but yours may be different. You're going to have to figure out how big you want your loops. So now I'm going to grab the wire with some round nose pliers, and I'm going to place it somewhere in the middle where it gives me a nice sized loop. And I do want the wire to be flush with the nose of my pliers. I don't want it sticking out. And now I'm simply going to loop it. You want to make sure you close your loop really well. Just like that. Now one word of caution, this wire is 20 gauge, so it needs to be perfectly straight in order for it to fit through this bead. As you can see, the hole of this bead is pretty small, so if your wire isn't straight, you may have trouble inserting the wire into the bead. Now before I thread this wire through, I need to load one of these beads. This is a corrugated spacer bead, as you can see, and this is from the Inspired by Czech's designer strand. And now I'm going to go ahead and thread the heart bead on, just like that. And now I'm going to kink my wire at the base of the bead. I'm going to line up the bottom loop so it's facing the same direction. Kink it, snip off the excess, leaving about 3/8 inch. And now I'm going to form another loop. And just like I said earlier, you need to make sure your loops are perfectly closed, and you want to make sure they're straight as well. Just like that. It's a good idea to straighten out your loops. Make sure they're both facing the same direction. So that part's done. And now I'm going to create 3 dangles. One's going to hang from this focal, and the other 2 I'm going to save for later when we go to assemble the necklace. So let me show you how to do one. I'm going to thread on one of these pear-shaped beads. And you want to thread it on so that the fat part of the bead is at the bottom like this. And now we're going to thread on this light bead cap. They came in 3 different colors: light pink, medium pink, and dark pink. And this one's the light pink one. Now for this one, we're going to do a wrap loop. So I'm going to grab the pin at the top of the bell flower cap like this. Kink it. Switch to this portion of the pin like this. Take the tail, wrap it around the nose of my pliers, flip the pliers around, and continue to wrap to the back, like this. And now because that's a simple loop, I'm going to go ahead and close this one with wraps. So I'm going to grab the loop with some skinny pliers, and with another set of pliers I'm going to grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. You can do as many wraps as you want. And now using some flush cutters, I'm going to snip off the excess. And now I'm going to tuck in whatever little end is sticking out. And this is what we have so far. So now we're going to attach the dangle to the heart. I'm going to open up this loop, take the dangle, thread it into the loop, and then close up the loop really well. So that's what we have so far. Pretty cute. And now I'm going to create 2 additional dangles using a couple of these bead caps. Let me thread them on and show you. It's the same kind of bead. It's the one that's faceted, that's shaped like a pear. And this time I'm going to use the dark pink, like this. So that's one. And this is the other one. So we have 2 that are identical, as you can see. Now these 2 I'm going to reserve for earrings, so let me put them away. And I'm only going to need 2 bead caps for the next step, so let me just remove these 2. But before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and do a wrap loop on both of these. As you can see, I formed a loop on both of these, but I haven't closed it with wraps yet. We're going to do that later on. So let me put these off to the side for now. Now the next bead is going to be a focal bead as well, and I'm going to use one of these agate beads. And I have a piece of wire here that's a little bit longer than the others. I probably have too much, but I always like to give myself extra. And if you're a beginner, I strongly recommend that you give yourself extra wire. So let me show you how to do this one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to form a simple loop, just like I've been doing. And now I'm going to thread on one of these bead caps. And then the agate bead. And then the other bead cap. Like this. I'm going to grab the pin right by the bead cap. Turn the bottom loop so it's lined up, kink it, cut off the excess, and now I'm going to form another loop at this end. Make sure it's straight, and you want to make sure your loops are level. So this one's going to actually be positioned above that one. There's going to be a lower tier and an upper tier, but we'll go over that later on once we put all of these on wire. So that's what I'm going to do next. And to save time, I'm going to go ahead and speed up the film. So I'll meet you back in just a moment. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I've put most of the beads on wire. Now these 2 are for earrings, so let me remove these. These are 2 agate beads. And the other thing that I did is I added a spacer to one of the Picasso jasper beads. And the reason I added the spacer is because I wanted that bead to be up at the top of the necklace by the clasp. And the spacer beads came from the Inspired by Czech's designer strand. So here's one that I haven't done yet. You simply thread it on like this. And it's the same thing. I'm going to create a simple loop, cut off the excess, grab the wire with my round nose pliers, and then loop it. Just like that. And you do want to line up your loops. Make sure they're facing the same direction. So there's another one. So the first thing we're going to do is assemble the focal part of the necklace. Let me just move these off to the side. Here are my 3 rings. Let me move these up a little bit more so we have room. Let me show you what I had in mind. One of the rings is going to go here. And then I have 2 jasper beads that I set aside because I made the loop a little bit larger than the rest of them because they need to go on the ring. So I'm going to have one on either side like this. And then a pink quartz and another jasper bead. Same thing on this side. And then another pink quartz on this side. And another one on this side on the left. So that's the lower tier. And actually let me swap these out because these have large loops. That's going to connect to a ring that's going to go up here. So the ring goes here. And the other one goes on this side like that. And now I'm going to create another tier above it. So this bead's going to go in the middle like this. And then a jasper bead on either side of it. And then a quartz. And then we'll finish with a jasper bead on this side. And another one on this side. And they're going to connect to the rings. And these 2 little dangles are going to hang off these rings. One on this side and one on this side. So that's basically what it's going to look like. And this is super easy, guys. All we're going to do is open up the loops and connect the beads. Let me show you. Using some flat nose pliers, I'm going to open up the loop like this, connect the next bead. And now I'm going to close it, and I'm using a different kind of plier. These are called stepped flat nose pliers. I like them because they have skinny tips and they're ideal for closing loops. So let me show you again. I'm opening up this loop, connecting the next bead, closing it up, open up this loop now, connect the following bead, and close it up. It's as simple as that. So now I'm going to do the same thing with these 4 beads. So now I've connected these beads, as you can see. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing with the 7 beads. And actually I think what I'll do is find a jasper bead that has a big loop. This one looks like it has a big loop. I'm going to swap it out. And same thing with this one. I need a big loop because I want to make sure that I can attach it to the ring. So let me go ahead and connect these 7 beads. As you can see, I've connected the upper strand. So now we're going to connect the upper and lower tier to the rings, and we're also going to connect the pendant. But I do want to point something out. Whenever you're connecting beaded components, you need to pay attention to how the loops are oriented, because we want to make sure that everything lays properly. So let's take a look at these beads. The middle one has loops that are parallel to the mat. Then the next one has loops that are vertical. They're perpendicular to the mat. And the pink one has loops that are parallel to the mat. And the jasper one has loops that are vertical. And that's what we want. We want the loop to be vertical so it can connect to the ring. I hope that makes sense. Let's go ahead and open up the loop. connect it to the ring and close it up. So that side is connected. And now let's go ahead and connect this side. So now the upper tier is connected, as you can see. So now we're going to work on the lower tier. Let's go ahead and connect the pendant first. I'm going to open up the loop, hook the ring onto it, and close it up. And now I'm going to connect this strand to the ring. So let me open up the loop. And now I'm going to close it. And now let me connect this strand. So that's what we have so far. So now I'm going to connect the lower tier to the rings, but once again we need to look at the loops because we want to make sure they're oriented properly. So let's take a look. The jasper one is vertical, as you can see. The quartz one is horizontal. The next jasper one is vertical, and this one is horizontal. And we don't want that because it's not going to connect to the ring properly. So what I need to do now is turn this loop, and that's very easy to do. I'm going to grab both loops like this and turn it so it's perpendicular, like this. So now that we've turned that loop, it should connect properly. Let me open it up. I'm going to slide the ring into the loop and close it. So let's take a look. So that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to connect this end, but I need to do the exact same thing to this loop. So let me go ahead and do that. And before I connect it, I'm going to lay out my beads just to make sure they're not all tangled up. So this one's vertical, horizontal, vertical, and this one has one that's horizontal and one that's vertical. So let me go ahead and open up this loop now. These are all little details, guys, that make a huge difference. If you don't pay attention to how the loops are oriented, you're going to be fighting the necklace constantly because it's going to want to twist up on you. So that's what we have so far, and I think it's adorable. So now I need to connect these dangles. I'm going to connect one to this ring and another one to that ring, and that's very easy to do as well. Let me open up this loop a little bit, and I'm going to slide the ring into the loop. Just like that. And now I'm going to grab the loop with my skinny pliers like this. And with another set, I'm going to grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. And now I'm going to cut off the excess. And I'm going to tuck in the little end. So that little dangle is connected, as you can see. And now I'll do the same thing to this side. So this is what we have so far. We're almost done. We just need to finish the strands, and I'm going to finish them with the jasper beads, and it's going to be the exact same technique. I'm going to divide the number of components evenly, and then I'll connect them to each other and form 2 strands. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'm going to speed up the film. Okay, as you can see, I've connected the strands, and I think this necklace is absolutely adorable. Now before I connect the clasp, what I'll do is take it to the mirror and hold it up to my chest and see if it's the correct length. If it's not the correct length, I may need to add some chain at the top by the clasp, which is why I pulled it out in the beginning of the tutorial. In any case, I do want to add an extended chain regardless. So let me go to the mirror now and see if this is the correct length, and I'll be right back. Well, I'm back and it looks like it's the perfect length for me. And by the way, guys, there are 11 jasper beads on the strands, in case you're wondering. And here's the chain. I'm going to cut myself a piece that's about 1.75 inches long. Of course, you can make yours as long as you want to. And actually, I don't need to cut the chain because these links are open links. And this chain is very tough chain, so I'm glad I'm able to separate the links instead of cutting them. I have another one of the faceted beads. This is the one that's pear-shaped, and it came in the designer strand. I also have a ball head pin. I'm going to form a wrap loop. Let me open it up a little bit. I'm going to insert the chain into the open loop, just like that. And now I'll grab the loop with my skinny pliers, like I always do, and grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess. And now I'm going to tuck in the little end. So there's my extended chain. Here are 2 6mm jump rings, and here's my lobster claw clasp. Let me go ahead and open up one of these jump rings. I'm going to connect the extended chain to it. And now I'm going to connect one of the strands to the jump ring and close it up. And now let me open up this jump ring. Connect the lobster claw clasp, and then connect the other strand to it and close it up. And there's no front or back to this necklace, so it doesn't matter where the lobster claw clasp goes. And tell me that's not the perfect necklace for Valentine's Day. I think it's super cute. And I do want to model it for you, but I want to make some earrings before I do that. And I didn't use the 4mm jump ring. I don't know why I pulled it out because I really didn't need it. I was going to use it on the extended chain, but as you saw, I connected the extended chain directly onto that 6mm jump ring by the clasp. As you can see, I've already made one earring. I used one of the beads that came in the Valentine bead mix. As you can see, it's teardrop shaped, and we got 2 of them. And I used one of the bellflower bead caps that came in the designer strand. I also used an 8mm agate bead, and I used one of the stainless steel ear wire hooks that came in the box. We received 2 kinds. We received stainless steel, and we received a couple of 14-karat gold-plated ear wires. But I chose the stainless steel. I think it actually picks up the gray from the Picasso jasper beads of the necklace. So to make the necklace, you're going to need a ball head pin. You're also going to need a piece of wire, and this is 20 gauge wire. I've already formed a loop, as you can see. I have my bellflower bead cap. I also have one of the gold bead caps that came in the strand, the designer strand, and there's the agate bead, the teardrop shaped bead, and the ear wire hook. So let me show you how easy this is. I'm going to thread on the metal bead cap, and then the teardrop shaped bead, just like that. I'm going to make a wrap loop. Snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, and now I'm going to grab the 20 gauge wire, thread on the agate bead, and then the bellflower bead cap. These are so cute. I love the color of these. And now I'm going to do a simple loop at the top. Let me open it up. Connect the ear wire hook. Close it up. And now I'm going to open up this end and connect the teardrop shaped bead and close it up. So now we have an adorable pair of earrings to match the necklace. Let me go ahead and bring out the necklace. Well, here's the pretty Valentine's necklace and earring set, and I think it's absolutely adorable. I love the combination of the great Picasso jasper and the pink quartz. I don't know what it is about combining those two colors, but I think it's really pretty. So anyway, guys, I hope you like this necklace and earring set as much as I do. What I'd like to do now is model the necklace for you. So let me go ahead and put it on and I'll meet you back. Well, what do you think of this necklace? Don't you love it? One of my viewers left a comment the other day that my necklaces are always very diverse and very different from each other. And the reason they are is because they're driven by the boxes I receive. In other words, I get inspiration and I get design ideas when I see the beads. And I actually love it when I get beads that I wouldn't buy for myself because I'm actually a little bit conservative. If I go to Michael's or some other bead store, I don't normally buy beads that are very colorful or very different. I'm kind of conservative. So anyway, guys, that's the reason why my designs are always so different. You can blame the bead companies for that. So anyway, guys, I would love it if you would leave some comments. Let me know what you think of today's design. I hope you can make your own. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.